Hi, I'm Nadia Dunn. Welcome to IDX TV here at the Package Fulfillment, Logistics and Delivery Expo. Joining me is Gavin from Postal and Logistics Consulting Worldwide. Gavin, thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Now, can you tell us a bit about the company and your role there?
Yeah, well, I'm the chairman of what we call PLC IWW, which is an independent consultancy business working with postal organizations and technology businesses to try and help them to build their companies up. So I'm based in the UK, but quite a lot of my customers are in the US, which is why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. And what does it mean coming to an event like this for the company?
Well, obviously there's a number of different elements to it. One is a lot of the technology companies are here showing their latest technology. So for somebody like me who likes to consult within the industry, it's important to keep up to date with what sorts of things are happening. There's also a conference taking place, which I'm chairing some of the sessions. So obviously that's a good opportunity for some real kind of dialogue and discussion about what's going on in the industry. And of course it's a great networking event. So, you know, I've already just walking here, bumped into quite a few people I know. So that's obviously also very important.
And tell us about your presentations.
Yeah, well, I'll be chairing the discussions. So the sessions that I'll be chairing, first one is on retail automation. So this is obviously the systems whereby people can buy products and services in post offices. And the second element would be on robotics, which is a kind of very of the moment area for operations because quite a lot of investment is going into that technology.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about how important cross-border e-commerce is to your company.
Well, cross-border is really, really important. It used to be a very, very small flow, but increasingly people are more confident to buy from other countries, to shop around, to look for the best kind of bargains. We've seen that with China over quite a few years now. And certainly in the UK, a lot of consumers are buying direct from US companies now. So the package distribution industry has to really adjust to that because instead of it being a small flow of kind of odds and ends, there are now really large volumes going between countries.
Well, yeah, as well as the large volumes, tell us about some other changes that you've seen in cross-border e-commerce over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, I think it's there's been a lot of the introduction of lots of different companies working in this space. So traditionally you would have had the postal organizations and the parcel companies. But increasingly what you're finding is a lot of companies are offering special services now to try and make it easier. Mm-hmm. So there are companies, for example, that can set people up with an address in the US. Mm-hmm. So you can have stuff sent to the US, consolidated and then sent across to the UK and avoid having to pay very expensive shipping. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole industry built up around it, and that's kind of unsurprising when you see how much growth there's been. You know, people are attracted to that industry.
Yeah, and tell us about how, as an industry, we can make the last mile more sustainable, and are companies doing enough?
Well, I think this is going to be a really, really important topic in the years to come. I see it more and more with the companies I talk to and work with. There are some fairly dramatic changes being discussed openly about how sustainability will affect the package industry. So just to give you an example, if you look at a city I know well and you know well, London, they are now looking actively at not allowing all of these package vans to go to addresses every single day of the week because the environmental impact is so huge. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to just sort of recommend these changes, they're going to enforce them. So it'll become increasingly the case that you'll be expected to get all your packages at once with one delivery, or you might be expected to pick it up at a locker bank or something like that. And at this exhibition, you can see a lot of the sorts of changes that are building into that, electric vehicles, parcel lockers. So I think there's going to be a big focus in that area, especially as we come out of the pandemic, because I think people are more interested in some of these topics than maybe they were in the past.
Well, do you think consumer preferences are changing as well?
I think they are, and I think particularly for e-commerce, shopping online, the highest growth in that area is probably where you would expect it to be. Is between 20 to 30 year olds who have that confidence that they've had from buying online for several years in their own country. And of course their value sets are quite different to somebody like me who's a lot older, and these things are very important to them. So they look for those sustainability buttons, those sustainability identifiers when they make their choices. So it is going to be important, yes.
And tell us about returns. We've seen companies like Zara and other companies that have now started charging for those returns. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, no, that's right. Just today, Boohoo, which is another big one in the UK, has just announced they're going to start doing